Addington News brought to you out of the Brecon Winning Owners Bar. And Darren, these trophies would indicate we've got some significant racing here this Friday night. In fact, over the next 3 weeks, we've got some cracking racing out on the Addington track.
Fantastic racing. Martin Pearson's been out mining these for almost a year.
Yeah,
they are magnificent trophies. They're one of those trophies that's unique, that people win and go, that is actually quite cool.
Yep.
It's not a cup or a vase or something, it's something a bit different. So they are sought after. I think this is year six for these races. 40k, Sire Stakes Board positioning themselves with some races that look after those horses that haven't been lucky enough to win a Group 1 so far. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. They're pretty good horses.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
But it gives them that opportunity to grab that money in the bin.
Yeah, definitely it does. And you see a number of the horses, as you'll see when we preview all of the races later on, are back and have another opportunity to do it again. And yeah, there's some really good stake money around at the moment. And when you flick through some of the results and look up horses and go, man, it's got to 100,000. Yeah, it's good, and it's retaining these horses here, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, look, 100%. I mean, these horses, well, these particular suite of races are 4-year-old and older, so they can just keep coming back year upon year.
As long as they don't win a Group 1.
And if they win a Group 1, they're probably quite happy.
They're probably quite happy not to be in the Uncut Gems. So looking forward to those. Ultimate Racebook continues to deliver when it comes to finding winners and value.
Yeah, look, Smokin' Annie last week was one we talked about. She hunted the fence and took shortcut, if you like, but she really did get home pretty solidly. So, as we say, we'll just talk about it in the preview when we go through that piece a bit later on. I think Eurocash was really good. I Dream of Genie was excellent at both ends, beginning really quickly and finishing quickly. Ideal Chevron was good. So look,
every week there's a stack of them, isn't there?
And it doesn't mean they necessarily win. I mean, Smokin' Annie didn't win, but you're able to find her when you perhaps might have overlooked her.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's just worth having a look at anyway.
Yep, definitely is. Owners' Night, we've been banging on about that for a month, and about 10 days ago you said to me, well, there's only about 80 or 90 booked. Now it's booked, and it's totally sold out.
Yeah, so this is the first one we've had that we've sold out completely before. Well, when I say sold out, there's no cost.
Well, there's no.
But booked out before the night. So will be a bit frustrating for someone that's missed a spot. But we've extended the size that we can take into the room really right to the capacity. I think we're at about 340 people. Big thank you to everyone that's supported it, not only the owners and their friends that are coming, but everyone that's supplied prizes and all sorts of things. New Zealand Bloodstock, Livermole, Harness Race New Zealand heavily supporting it. Everyone that's got involved with the expos.
You got a chance to win a week's accommodation at Malula Bar, with the Peninsula. You know, everyone's got them behind it.
And I don't want to leave anyone out. No. There's a huge number of people that have supported that. The TAB have supported it with some betting vouchers. And there's a number of wee surprises that will happen in the room, which will be quite cool.
Yep.
There's a raffle wheel. You won't even have to buy a raffle ticket to win a prize. So
great.
It's going to be good fun. It recognises those owners, which Addington want to do, and hopefully get some new owners involved in the game.
Yep, absolutely. It's a premier preview. Next week we've got the Garrard Sire Stakes final and a number of other feature races, and then the following week it is the Heather Williams. And the racing at Addington over the next fortnight or so is going to be quite exceptional, and you're going to have music and spectators, and Anton turns up again.
Yeah, so this week and next week Anton will be in there probably from about 8:30ish, something like that, through to maybe about 11 o'clock. So there's plenty of time to grab a drink and continue the night on after the race is finished. So yeah, that's something that will happen the next 2 weeks.
All right, if you want to stick around for the full meeting preview, you can do so. Anything goes. Don't Stop Dreaming versus Merlin is going to be a cracking contest, but I think Don't Stop Dreaming will beat him this week by virtue of drawing to his inside. And I do like Majestic Lavros. It's the best value runner of the week. So about the $15, probably more. It's like that 1/4 type bet, or even top 4. You can check that out at tab.co.nz, but please bet responsibly. But if you want to stick around for the full meeting preview, then we'll take you through all 11 races.
All right, let's get into a full meeting preview. $250,000 in stakes for this meeting, the Premier Prelude, big prelude into next week's Premier meeting here, including the last heat of that size stakes. So it's going to be a good night. Race 1, we get underway, 4:51. IRT, Your Horse, Our Passion, pace, 2,600 metres.
Yeah, $15,000 maiden, so I'm a good stake, that's for sure. I thought Rakiro Slammer could win this. It's first up for Gavin Smith and Ronnie Dorr. Trials have been good, including the latest one. Meets a field that I reckon it can handle. So, yeah, I'd be keen to have something on it. Rebounds racing really well for Katie Cox. Comes up with a good draw. Last start second here behind Ideal Chevron. Only just got beaten on that occasion. Good draw to work from there. Amaretto Franco did very little wrong in its first run, and I reckon it wouldn't need to lift much from that barrier to have a big part to play in this. And Arnold Lane has gone okay in its 2 runs to date too. Son of Vincent for John Howe. So 7-2, 1 and 3 in the opener.
Race number 2, first leg of the early quaddie. This is a wee bit difficult, this quaddie, so watch out if we end up with a jackpot. That could boost the late quaddie. But race 2 is the Eppark Canterbury Trotter 2,000 metre stand at 5:15.
Darren, take as many as you can, as many as you possibly can to get you through the first leg of
He's done a good job with this one, Greg.
Oh, yes. Emily I went with on exposed form when she was last in, and she has trialled okay. So that was in behind Maui when it finished 4th at the Ashburton trials. It was in the middle of last month. So I'll go for her on top with not huge amount of confidence. Rush can win this race. A mare that's actually owned by Bruce Greenhow of Take a Moment fame. He lives just down the road from me, so good luck to you, Bruce. And while she's a bit of a challenge, and she looked like she was going to get some money the other day at Rangiora until that late gallop, yeah, I reckon this is her type of race. So give her a good chance. Sue's Dash has ability. She's trained by Tom Baggery, has John Dunn in the bike. And Racy Cruiser was the other one I put in. Another one by Peak, raced by Bruce Graham. This one trained and driven by Amber Letherby. But like I say, go as wide as you can, 11, 5, 1 and 10.
Race number 3, part of the Oxford Group sponsorship, Fat Eddie's, one of the bars in town. Mobile pace, 2,600 metres, 5:40.
Yeah, good competitive race. I really thought Magic Four would win that race last week, and I think he underperformed a wee bit. He would only need to just lift a bit to win this race. So I'll go for him ahead of Sweet Belle. Her win 2 starts back. We really liked her that night. She had a pretty hard run last week and still kept battling on and behind Dancing Desire. So no disgrace there. Giselle's an interesting runner. Comes up with a barrier draw. Follows speed great. No reason to think that it won't be right amongst this. Evangelist was close up last time. And the other one I gave a chance was to Jimmy James Maguire. I know he has to come from the outside of the second row, but you only need to look back through his form. He was second at Methven behind Art Attack and second behind Folklore here at Addington earlier in April. So it's a good form line. It wouldn't surprise me if he came out and won it. I'll go 8, 7, 1 and 14.
Yeah, another real competitive race. Race number 4 is the Fulks Investment Mobile Pace 1980, and this one at 6:09.
He's a smart 2-year-old of this called Bronson. His 2 trial wins have both been good. His latest one over a filly called RDB Mickey, who will go to Rangiora on Sunday and probably win. Really nice type of filly. So, yeah, I think Bronson, even from that draw, should be too strong for Mickey's Courage, who's trained by the Duns, and John doing the steering. It's won its last 2 trials as well, and done it really nicely. Has the advantage of the barrier draw, so watch the market for this one. Sporty Miss has been good in 2 runs to date. Ken Barron, Blair Orange, and Jones Rising Star, not the worst either. Another one by Vincent has a handy barrier draw. 9, 2, 8, 1.
The last leg of the early quaddies, the first of our features, the Rico Lodge Uncut Gems Mares Classic. 1980 mobile, 6:44 and for 40k, Greg.
Yeah, great stake and a really deep race. So this is exactly what the Uncut Gems and the Sire Stakes board are all about, and giving these horses opportunities to race for some good money. The butt pair, well, he's got 3 in it, but the butt pair of Kikarangi Blue and Manhattan will be the hardest to beat here. I think Kikarangi Blue will get off the gate first clearly and get the front. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if it handed to Manhattan. Manhattan, when she finds the front, is incredibly hard to get past. She trialled really nicely recently, so there's no reason to think that she's not up to the mark. And I spoke to Bob Button. He said, I think she's a bit classier than Kikarangi Blue. I still think Kikarangi Blue can beat her because she was unlucky last week. She's gone some terrific races and times here at Addington. Joe's Rock's a talented mare with Brett Gray. He's targeted this race, so she was a last up winner at Winton in the middle of last month. And Folklore is just what Folklore is, just follows the speed all the time. Premier Mare's champion, as we know. No reason, if she gets the right run, that she couldn't win this, Darren. So 6, 9, 7 and 8, but yeah, good race.
Race number 6, the Livermore Handicap Trot, 2,600 metres at 7:10. Livermore part of Owners Night, which is upstairs on this night, Greg, and supporters of a couple of Group 1 trotting races.
Yeah, on the Grand Prix, of course, they sponsor the Derby and the Trotting Free-for-All. So, yeah, great to have them behind this race as well. Bella Button, she drops back in grade for this. Her form is impeccable. The third last time behind I Dream of Jeannie and Peregrine. That form will stack up again this week. I can't see any reason why. I nearly made her the best bet of the week on the box seat, Darren, because there's no reason to think that she can't win this. So, yeah, no, absolutely no reason. I'll go for her on top to beat To Tangata and Blair Orange and Paul Nairn. Also, it's really coming to it. I can see him even getting through to Free-for-All Company and being very competitive as his career continues on. He's by Waterloo Sunset, of course, who Paul had such good success with. Holly Highlander, a mare with talent, only had the 9 starts, but she's been good, and she was third behind Bella Button last time. And Magic Dash comes back to the races. Regan Todd trains, trial winner at Rangiora, and a bit of a talent, this 4-year-old. So I reckon he'll be right amongst it, along with the likes of Katie Hawke. But I'll go for Bella Button to take out the Livermore.
Number 7, excuse me, is the Garrard size stakes. This is Series 39, the Colts and Geldings. The last heat of this race in Mobile 1987-35, and they move to the big final next week, Greg. So the last chance for some of these horses to grab themselves a spot.
Yeah, I spoke to Michael Guerin earlier today on the box seat, talking about one word: intent. The week before the big final, who's going to press the go button? He was of the opinion that Don't Stop Dreaming would, because it's drawn to the inside of Merlin, so therefore it'll want to stay in front of it. And I sort of concur, but the Dunn pair of Charlie Brown and Who's Delight might have a bit to say about that. And Sinbad's drawn to their inside along with Captain Tom. So if they were ever not going to win a race that both of them were in, it might be this one. But yeah, it's hard to back against them, isn't it? They're the 2 dominant 3-year-olds, and I can't wait till next week. And the barrier was going to have such a big part to play in that. And as we know, Merlin's making his way over to the Rising Sun over in Queensland in July too. So his season is about to get well and truly ramped up again, the Northern Derby winner. So I'll go 8 over 9. The logical Quinella, Sinbad a chance, and Charlie Brown might be a top 4 bet for those who like to bet into such a thing, because I think he's a pretty solid performer, and he's got a barrier draw to work with this week.
Race number 8 is the first leg of the Lake Quaddie, the Better Bet Uncut Gems for the Colts and Geldings. It's the classic. Again, $40,000, $1,980 at 8 o'clock. And Better Bet, of course, involved in our Sunday meetings coming up, Greg, in a couple of months, but big sponsors here of this race.
Yeah, they are, and throughout the country too, and we really appreciate their support, as I'm sure the Sire Stakes board do too. Tommy Waterhouse won this last year and beat Anything Goes. I think Anything Goes will get its due rewards 12 months later. Obviously, winner of the Coca-Cola Superstars, now with Mark and Nathan Purden under new ownership. And the way he ran through the line and beat the likes of the Falcon in that Superstars, hard to think that he won't be able to do it again. So Natalie Rasmussen takes the drive. He's got early gate speed. It's a short course. His record over that distance is really strong. And yeah, he's come up $1.70, so there's no spoil there, but I think he'd be the one to beat. Didn't mind Beach Ball. I reckon he might press forward and maybe give Anything Goes the trail, as was the case in that Coca-Cola Superstars. Gave Heisenberg a chance. He's such a great follower of speed. And Got You Covered was actually third in this race last year too. So, yeah, the same 3 horses, top 3 last year, and will have a part to play this year, I think. I'm leaving Tommy Waterhouse out. I thought he had his chance at Invercargill. But 3, 7, 13 and 8. And great to see Cos I Can here. Mike Berger, brilliant horseman over a long period of time. Brings this horse by virtue of its Country Cup success at both Manawatu and Cambridge. And, yeah, nice to have Mike back. Of course, he was the co-trainer of Gracious Knight, the winner of the 2002 New Zealand Cup.
Greg, it's always good to have the visitors here, and Adrian Matthews makes a way down. Well, he's a sure thing, yeah. And those owners are in the room for owners' night as well, so they'll be enjoying themselves. They come up with a good draw.
Yeah.
Race number 9. Find a copy that from Woodlands on the 25th of May. Mobile pace 2600, 825. So that refers to Copy That, who was one of the Woodlands drafts.
Darren. Yep, 7,500
at the Wheeling sales on the 25th of May. You might be able to find yourself another one. So it just goes to show they come from everywhere.
They do.
He's obviously been exceptionally well managed and has done a huge job. But you never know. Have a look at that Woodland stud draft. You might be able to find one.
Yeah, there's 123 weanlings going through the sale, and I think they've got about 48 of them, and maybe Yellowbar have got 52. So yeah, there's the big studs have seen this as a real target for them, and even Macca Lodge is heading up there with a team of them this year. So yeah, looking forward to getting along to that sale. And 7,500 turned into 2 million makes quite good economical sense. Doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen. Going with Major Happy in this one, Philip Vermeulen and Corbin Newman. I thought the first up run was good. Actually, I've always had a little bit of time for this filly, so yeah, I think she can take this out. To beat He's Santa's Excuse. Gets into this race beautifully, comes up with a barrier draw, generally follows speed pretty well. So like its chances. Better with Blings drawn nicely in barrier 1. And directly behind it, Ferns Goldie. Now, when you talk about those upcoming meetings through June and July, Ferns Goldie's the sort of horse that'll just punch around there, pretty much line up every week for Dan Reardon. Will pick up money, will probably slide up and down the scales, but yeah, following out Better with Bling, it might get an economical trip this week and might find itself in a top 4 spot. So I'll go 7, 2, 1 and 10. It's a tricky race though, D.
One that popped up on the Ultimate Racebook results last week was Ideal Chevron. Of course, it won a relatively modest type of race, but I think it was home in about 56.5 and 57 or something. Pretty solid sort of a performance, and whilst it's drawn the back row, could cause an upset again, Greg.
Yeah, that's right. Comes off the unruly, which is never easy, but hey, it was too good last time. And great to see Prop Anderson with the winner back at Addington Raceway. Of course, many wins between him and Tim Butt when they had the Premier Stables going, including 2 New Zealand Cups with Flashing Red. So, yeah, good on your Prop.
Absolutely. Race number 10 is the NZB Standardbred Uncut Gems Classic. This is the Trotters version. Again, $40,000, 2,600, and we get underway at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, good race. It is. And it's a real chance again for Paramount Empress to put her hand up. She's 2 from 2 this time in. I know she'll have the Heather Williams race coming up in a couple of weeks' time, but this is another very good target for her. I think Martin said across these Uncut Gems is about half a dozen made the late payment, and she made the late payment for her last victory as well. So, yeah, she's certainly rewarding Brian West, which is great. I reckon she'll win again. She's $1.90, so there's no real large spoil there. Peregrine will be in it for a wee way, as will I Dream of Jeannie. They caught out of that race last week, and I reckon the best upset chance of the night is Majestic Lavros. Won this race last year, 3 runs back this time in. Clearly a target for Derek and Adele Jones and Kipros Kotzikas, and yeah, $15, Darren. I reckon it's a cracking place and top 4 chance. So I'll go 5, 9, 12 and 8, but I might even by the end of the week elevate Majestic Lavros up. There's been some good horses win this too. Dark Horse, Massive Metro went on to win a Group 1, and the likes of Majestic Lavros last year. So, yeah, good race, the 10th.
They're difficult to pick. The flashing light from the Ultimate Racebook last week was Euro Cash, who really roared home the last wee bit. He has been in the Ultimate Racebook the last couple of times, but he'll be competitive here, of course. But it's a very talented field, as you said.
Climb up the hill, Darren. I didn't even mention her, and you know, I've always had a massive amount of time for her, and she was good last time too.
Yeah, I mean, such as the quality and the evenness of these fields, it's difficult to leave horses out. So it's difficult. Race number 11 is the First Direct Taxis Mobile Pace, 2,600, and the last gets underway 9:25.
I nearly made Obsession the bet of the week, although she is slightly suspect at 2,600, particularly first up. And I spoke to Tim Williams about that. He said she can absolutely win, but she'd probably need the right sort of run, like she got when she finished second behind No Matter What in the Oaks. I'll still go for her on top to beat Absolute Dynamite, who I thought was really good at Rangiora last Sunday. Adesanya from the same barn, the Robert and Jenna Dunn barn, and Kalasa I put in for the top 4. But yeah, if Obsession gets the right run, she'll probably win, but she needs that run to win. So yeah, just a little bit of trepidation around her, but she's a fair enough sort of a mare, that's for sure.
One of the stable reps from the North Island branch at Stonewall Stud, Malcolm Little, will be in Owners Night as well. Greg, he's made his way down, so I think he may very well be in this horse Obsession. So one of the tips in the last, Greg, could be old-time rock and roll, because we have a bit of music and Spectators after the last. It's not the worst horse, Barry Ward's. It's been keeping good company, and this is potentially a slight drop in class from the company it's been keeping lately. But as I say, Anton will be in Spectators after the last. It's going to be a good night all in all, as we say, registering and acknowledging the owners that we have in the industry and the potential owners that could want to get involved. So all in all, it's going to be a good night. The racing's going to be great. We're going to leave you with Majestic Lavros's win in the Uncut Gems trot last year, Greg. As you say, he's obviously a little bit difficult to manage. His career's been a wee bit spasmodic, but there's no denying his ability, and I think we'll leave you with him on the way out. Enjoy the night on Friday night.
Gold Chain back to the inside, runs on from My Moments now. Matuatana galloped, headed off by Majestic Lavros. Gold Chain runs on from Mataderos, wider out, time up the hill. Gold Chain going to Majestic Lavros, time up the hill late. Majestic Lavros with his nose in front, and he did it. Majestic Lavros won it and beat Gold Chain and time up the hill. Fourth, I think, Mataderos from Midnight Dash, and then Smoke and Bandar. Matuatana threw it away halfway down from Sue Princess. My Moments now and BJ Lindeni.